assist our government for all time, with all my might, and the greatest love and reverence for...
Do not put it away, sir. I will sign it.
What do you mean?
I'm signing it. That's it.
But why?
What do you mean, but why? For 10 years you have been interrogating me, examining me, and keeping me prisoner. Day after day for the past 10 years, you have kept giving me the same form to sign. And whenever I refuse, you either threaten me with harsh consequences or try to talk me into signing it. Now that I finally do want to sign it so I can leave the jail and serve the government, you are surprised and wonder why.
But so suddenly? With no warning.
I've had a change of heart, officer.
What do you mean, change of heart? What change of heart?
Something inside me. I no longer want to fight the government.
What do you mean you don't want to fight?
I am tired. Let somebody else fight the government. Would that be? Beats me. Spies of some superpower, secret agents maybe, but not me anymore. I've done my part.
Oh. I'm disappointed in you. Stop fighting the government. Turn conformist? And who's saying this? The longest held prisoner in the country.
While we are on the topic, is it true that I am the last prisoner?
Yes?
See, sir, everybody has long been convinced that we have the best form of government in the whole wide world. My former comrades have confessed their guilt, they got their pardons and were sent home. There's nothing left to arrest anyone for. And I'm supposed to be the last rebel? But what kind of rebel am I? I'm a stamp collector at heart.
Now you say things like that. But who was it that threw a bomb at the general?
That's ancient history, sir. The bomb didn't even go off. No point in even bringing it up.
This doesn't sound like you. For 10 long years, you refused to testify. You stuck to your guns. How many times, instead of breaking down and signing, did you proudly spit on the portraits of our infant king and his uncle, the regent? You were getting to know each other. Everything was falling into place, and now all of a sudden you want to go and destroy it all.
I'm telling you, sir, there's no point to this anymore. If I were not so ideologically stranded, perhaps I would have kept at it. But to think that our beautiful and bountiful and peaceful land has long been praising our infant king and his uncle the regent. The prisons are all empty, and it's just me, the only one, the lone holdout. No, officer, I am being honest. I've simply lost my former convictions. If the whole nation is for the government and against me, there's got to be something to it. Let me be brief. We have a very good government, and that's that. Yes?
While accepting with sincere joy and satisfaction the prisoner's confession testifying to the change of heart she has experienced under the educational influences of the prison system, I feel it is my obligation to ascertain the degree to which her new positive and every measure scientific outlook is deep enough to last. So, why is it that you, if you will, consider our government to be good?
Officer, are you blind? Never before in our history has our country flourished the way it's flourishing now. From the window of my cell, if one were to pull a bunk up to it and put a pail on it, turn it upside down, and stand on it on tippy toes, you would see a lovely meadow, which each spring is bursting with color. Let me tell you, at harvest time, farmers come to cut the hay. For the past 10 years, I've noticed an expression of satisfaction on their faces, growing stronger by the year.
You do know the rules prohibit looking out the window.
Yes, but not when the goals are ideological, pedagogical, and correctional. But this is nothing, officer. Beyond the meadow is a hill, and beyond that, in the past several years, an industrial site has been opened. I can see a chimney, which is often smoking.
In the interest of full disclosure, I attest that this is a crematorium.
And would you want it, sir, that the dead are buried as in centuries past? Don't the atheists, too, like the faithful, have the right to freely decide on their funeral and burial. What you say only confirms what I myself have gleaned, that our country is a place of the widest tolerance when it comes to religious convictions too.
Yep.
Take culture and art, for example. Often when I walk back and forth, more lengthwise than side to side, because, you know, the cell is rectangular, I get very hyped up.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Now you see.
I am on duty and cannot take my job too lightly. That is, I cannot take your change of heart at face value. First, I must determine conclusively that you have no doubts or hesitations. Don't you think you're looking at everything a bit too much through rose-tinted glasses? Looking at our economy in the big picture, it's not overlooked certain specific phenomena, such as, for example, the railroad industry.
Even the most ardent enemy of our statehood cannot deny that the railroad as a phenomenon does exist here.
But looking at things from this angle, you never had any thoughts? You know what I mean?
I don't get it, officer.
Come on. The way you're talking to me right now, it's as if what you threw at the general wasn't a bomb, but a pretzel. Hasn't it ever crossed your mind that our uncle, the regent, is a nincompoop?
Chief!
Okay, of course he's not. I was only referring to his mind. You have to admit that even the greatest minds can have their weaknesses, subconsciously, that is, in the spheres of habits and preferences.
Why are you winking at me, officer?
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You, the conspirator of all people, to ask me such questions.
But this is exactly the educational influence of our prison system, which you were talking about earlier, officer. I swear, I've simply forgotten what that kind of winking can mean. Is it an allusion to something? Some sad news about the fate of our infant king and his uncle the regent? Tell me for goodness sake.
And aren't you the one who thinks our uncle, the regent, is an old pervert?
Him? The squeaky clean old man?
All right, very well then. On behalf of our general headquarters, I congratulate you on your progress. But let's not get carried away. This concerns not only you, who is undergoing a transformation, and let's hope it is a real one, but also me, who can't be so imprudent as to trust it. So, you say that you do not think that our uncle the regent is what you really think he is. But sometimes psychology tells us that sometimes a person doesn't think what he thinks he thinks. What do you think of that?
You're right. But of course, officer, sometimes we think that we don't think, but we do think, even though we're not really thinking at all. Thought is a powerful thing, officer.
But only in the service of mankind.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, now please look at our infant king. Little, isn't he?
Like any child.
A little brat, eh?
Officer! If it weren't for your uniform and rank, I might start suspecting you could be right. But if our own chief of police says that our youthful ruler is a little brat, such an utterance could never, ever be the truth. If I heard this from a salesman or a bricklayer in the street, perhaps I might start to waver. But the chief of police? No! This only reaffirms my utmost reverence and admiration for our infant king and, of course, his uncle the regent. Trust me, I've relinquished my former misguided anti-government outlook. The reason for my change of heart is twofold, internal and external, I would say. This duality assures the depth and permanence of the change, which is what you are after all. You're admirable concern for my well-being, officer. The external causes are the ones we've already talked about. The comprehensive progress our country has made, as can be gleaned from any newspaper. Take a look around. Don't bury your head in the sand at these achievements. Things certainly don't look bad. Take one look at your salary and you'll see how baseless any such complaints are. In a word, I've become a great supporter, and I'm not afraid to admit it. If you doubt that such general motivations are strong enough to guarantee the permanence of my re-education, I will give you other motives, which I would describe as internal, and therefore more personal. You see, as a child, I never learned law and order, or noble goals, or discipline. All I heard over and over again was freedom, freedom, and more freedom. Such one-sided sustenance has only fulfilled one part of my inner being. A feeling of outrage against all rigor and discipline, and the will to oppose all restrictions and authorities that I had in spades. But over the years, a feeling of deficiency or lack began to settle in. I came to the conclusion that, in a certain way, I'm a developmentally challenged person. I, a free radical, a model conspirator, arrived at a peculiar state of nostalgia. How could it be? I asked myself. Why did fate wound me so, but depriving me of the joyful feeling of concord, submission, loyalty, that pleasant feeling of oneness with authority, that blissful consent to the fulfillment of political inevitability, with the added pleasure that without having to mention these inevitabilities, I would be satisfied to just go along with the beneficial psychological comfort that I am a person of action. I was an incomplete person, officer, until I understood that it is not yet too late. Yes, the time came when my first self, the rebellious and inquisitive one, perished of excess, and a second self awakened and with full voice demanded nourishment, joyful and peaceful concord, eager hope, and the peace that comes from being part of something. This joyful certainty that the reign of our infant king and his uncle the regent is as noble, wise, and virtuous as we ourselves are gives us a delectable feeling, unknown to those impoverished souls who are limited by their negativity, and at the same time to those individualists whose humanity is unfulfilled. Only now have I reached a fullness, officer. Here I am, the last prisoner of a well-developed country where loyalty is absolute, the last blemish on the blue sky of the government of our infant king and his uncle the regent, the last raven which with the blackness of its wings stains the clear rainbow of our statehood. It's only on my account that you support the police. It's due to me alone that you cannot get rid of judges or guards. Empty prisons should be turned into kindergartens. It's due to me alone that you have to stick around here, officer, in this stuffy bunker, instead of heading off for the open spaces, the meadows, the fields, with a fishing rod or a gun, casting off the constraining uniform. So, officer, I declare, you have won. The police has fulfilled its mission to the very end. The last one to have anything against the government is laying down her arms and desires nothing more than to join the chorus of all citizens singing Hosanna to our infant king and his uncle the regent. This will be the first time in the history of the world the ideal of order in a state has been fully and literally embodied without any doubt. Here, in my very person, the last obstacle is set aside. Today should constitute a landmark occasion in your life, officer. It is the day of ultimate victory, the crowning jewel of an entire lifetime of work, something you were called to do. Today, I will sign this sheet of paper, do the deed you have urged me to do in vain for the past 10 years. In doing so, I will be liberated and will support the government. Moreover, I will write an open letter to our infant king and his uncle, the regent. This will be the humblest of letters that has ever been written, filled with the greatest adoration and love.
You mentioned you like stamp collecting.
Yes, but what brings you back to that topic?
Please reconsider whether you really want to leave us. You could still think things through again, honing your views. As they say, haste makes waste. But in the meanwhile, we could assist you in your stamp collecting. We have secret agents in offices all over the world. They send us reports. We could peel off the stamps and give them to you for your stamp album. It's not so easy to find good stamps on the outside.
The sergeant is back.
Let him in. So, Sergeant, any luck? You don't look so good. What happened? Ooh. Ooh. Are you hurt? You can talk now.
As part of my duties, I began shouting anti-government slogans. And then they beat me up.
Who beat you up? You don't mean that you mean you were beaten up by...
Unfortunately, yes, I was beaten up by our loyal population.
I expected as much.
You see, officer, this all confirms my theory.
Stop interrupting. Give me the details, Sergeant.
Right after getting instructions from you, sir, I got right to work. First, I put on a set of plain clothes, despite the fact, let me be clear about this, if there is one thing I hate, it's civilian clothes. In order to go even deeper undercover, I put on a trench coat and a small brown hat with a narrow brim. Then I hit the streets. For a while, I acted up in front of the Bureau of Weights and Measures, but nobody paid any attention. So I went to the main square and made faces at the statue of our infant king and his uncle, the regent. Oh. Nobody even noticed, since, as you well know, it's always very busy there. So I go over to a side street, stand in line in the beer stand. I look around and see that the people around me are more or less ordinary folks, you know, just between the 30th and 38th income brackets. Great. I think to myself, the entire time the line is moving, I'm trying to figure out how to break into the conversation. And finally, I come up with an idea. When it's my turn, without batting an eye, I say to the vendor, 2 small beers served back to back. You see, sir, served back to back, meaning our system of government has no term limitations and what you draft is what you drink. But he, well, either he didn't get it, well, he didn't seem too bright, or else he didn't want to get it. But in any case, he asked me, light or dark. So I went for it and said, light, dark, who cares? Our agriculture's going down the drain, and anyone who doesn't steal or swindle can't make it on a straight paycheck. So the people in line behind me started drawing closer. One of them asked if I was not alluding to our current situation, and if so, that he is a state employee and would not tolerate anyone insulting the state. So I gave him a spiel about the raising of livestock and foreign trade, and to top it off, a bit about the police, especially the secret police. And then this young guy jumps out, comes at me, pounces on me. You! Leave our police alone, he says, because next you're going to start ranting about the army and putting limitations on national service, and I'm due to go in front of the recruiting board next fall. And then an old lady, even further off, starts yelling, see him? He doesn't like our police. And no less than 1 week ago, I applied to have my house searched, and now this fart is serving up his lies. You know how one always feels better after a house search? And without it, you feel out of sorts. Oh, I see how hard it is. But you know me, Chief? I've been serving since birth. And the job of agent provocateur is a sacred thing to me, even if it is a tough job and I'm almost sick from wearing civilian clothes. So I don't hold back. And I say what needs to be said. First about the taxes, then about the condition of the hospitals, and then finally about our infant king and his uncle, the regent. You turd! They cry. Now you want to oppose our most beloved rulers? And then they beat me up. know, Chief, when they were beating me up, conflicting feelings rattled around inside me. Feelings of sadness and feelings of joy. I was sad that I couldn't carry out your orders because I couldn't provoke anyone, and again, there will be no one to arrest. I was happy that the love and reverence for the government and for our infant king and his uncle, the regent, are so widespread and deeply felt by the people.
What a great country. What a great people.
Bring some ice for the sergeant!
Officer, the sergeant's tale has made me even firmer in my resolve. I want to renounce my former beliefs right away. I cannot think about them without repulsion. I'm signing the Declaration of Loyalty now. Please provide me with a copy, pen, and ink.
So it's irreversible.
Nothing will sway me from this decision. When I leave this building, which is so full of memories, I will become an activist. Let's do it. Let's sign it.
So no more stamps, huh?
What are stamps in comparison to my service to our infant king and his uncle, the regent? The passions of a collector cannot compare with the spirit of service. What is a stamp album to me when I can submit to the joys of loyalty, which I'm experiencing for the first time in my life after a dark period of anarchy?
Okay, I won't insist. Here's the paper and pen. If that's what you wanted.
At long last.
I'm disappointed in you. Thought you would have been much tougher. Till now you had out so beautifully. You must take the items found on you at the time of your arrest.
Ghosts of the past. Oh no. I don't want it. I am done with this for good. Officer, would you like to take this bomb as a souvenir of the good times that we've spent together? It will testify to your paternal triumph over me. This is what remained after the last dissident. Here, take my cape and my mask too.
As you wish.
Congratulations! The last dissident has died. A new subject is born. If I were you, I'd give the order to fire the cannons and give the staff 3 days off. Wait, why just 3 days? From now on, they will have absolutely nothing to do. Goodbye, and thank you for everything. Long live our infant king and his uncle the regent!
Oh God. Oh God.
Maybe we can provoke her.
Hello, is your husband at home?
I'm afraid he's not back from work yet.
I'm back from work. Isn't today his day off?
Oh, he doesn't care for days off, sir. What would you like to see him for, sir?
Chief!
Shh! Not the letter. Did he say when he'll be back?
No, he went into town to try to do some voluntary provoking. Who knows how long it will take. Oh!
Please, don't let me interrupt you. I see you are sewing.
It's nothing. I'm trying to sew stripes onto his underpants. He feels so lousy when he's not in uniform. He always wants to wear something military, even if it is under his clothes. Sir,
What is it?
please let him do something else. Don't make him go around provoking people undercover.
Why not?
You have no idea how thin and weak he has gotten ever since he was ordered to go undercover. He cannot live without his uniform. He is withering away.
It's just too bad.
Oh,
You want to provoke, you have to go undercover.
please, but please, at least wear his police cap. It will be easier on him.
It's impossible. A police cab would give him away.
Oh, you're right. It has been such a long time since he had someone to arrest. He probably doesn't show it at work, but at home he has become so moody and hard to bear. One more arrest will do him a world of good.
There's no incarceration without provocation.
I stopped believing even that.
Well, then maybe you have some leads?
Not at all. Everyone around here is as loyal as you can get. And if I would stumble upon such a person, I would tell my husband right away to ease his suffering. He's always asking me anyways.
What about the neighbors? Maybe some more distant relatives?
They are all so law-abiding. Now, there was an old man on our street who would complain, but he was complaining about his gout, not the government. He died shortly thereafter, perhaps out of caution.
Well, everywhere peace and quiet. Tell me, how did you meet your husband?
Oh, it was so long ago, sir. He informed on me, and I informed on him. Well, that is how we met.
Do you have any kids?
We've got 2, but they're locked up right now. Should I let them out?
No, I don't want to inconvenience you. Drop by to see your husband.
Oh, perhaps he's back now. He always eavesdrops when he's on the stairs. Let me see.
The chief of police at my place? What an honor.
Hush. I'm here unofficially. And why not enter through the door?
Well, I came here on the rooftops because I thought I might be able to catch something illegal. I had to come home anyway, so I thought to myself, I'll come back on the rooftops. It takes just as long anyway, and maybe I'll get lucky and stumble upon something. Streets are all calm anyway.
And what did you find?
Nothing at all. The only excitement was the birds. Is my wife here?
She went to the staircase because she thought you might be there.
She always eavesdrops when she's on the stairs. It'll take her a while. Do you mind if I get changed? I feel naked without my uniform on.
Please, change to your heart's content. It's your home, and it's your day off.
Oh, yes, I know. I just thought today might be my lucky day, so I decided to go out and do a bit of provoking before lunch. But it all came to naught. They're all hooting and hollering, cheering for the government.
Well, if it hadn't been for policemen like you, perhaps we'd never live to see this epidemic of loyalty. That is, I mean to say that it's thanks to you that we have such a perfect state of law and order. You ought to be given a promotion.
Well, don't mention it, sir. I just felt like going out and seeing what I could do. I must admit, I kind of like it. Ah, I can finally relax. Now that I am at home, I can finally feel at ease. You've no idea what it's like to be able to come home and change. Oh my gosh, really the pleasure it gives me, it truly is. Oh, I'm sorry. You see, this is what happens when you don't wear a uniform at work. You see, Chief, I really need to grab hold of myself.
Don't worry. We have more important things to discuss. Find an excuse and send your wife away for a while so she won't come in here. She's probably still hanging around the staircase. She's a good woman, but I have to discuss a confidential matter with you.
Yes, sir. I I sent her to go get waterproof glue.
What a strange excuse.
Oh, it's not an excuse. My raincoat ripped when they beat me up last time.
Okay, okay. How far did she go?
Oh, she'll be gone for about 45 minutes.
So, are you surprised by my visit?
If you say so.
So you're surprised.
Oh, yes, sir. The chief of police, my home in person. I would have sooner expected a revolution.
Let's not be dreamers, Sergeant. Anyways, a police sergeant on alert always expects a revolution. No, that's not what I meant to say. You are totally beyond reproach.
How can it be otherwise, sir?
Yet, in your exemplary conduct, there is something more than the ordinary conscientiousness and sense of duty. No need for that. Better you sit down.
Actually, sir, if you'll excuse me, I would like to exercise a little bit, if you have nothing against it.
Exercise?
Yes, sir. When I'm at home in this hour, I always do the free weights or use the springs. I always have to be ready, just in case. Stuff really makes you strong. Would you like to touch it?
No, thank you. I can see it just fine from here. If you want to exercise, please, go ahead. It's obvious you are an excellent policeman, but I have discovered something more in you.
Yes, sir.
You have given me ideas.
Yes, sir.
You put on civilian clothes, don't you, when an assignment requires it, even though you hate wearing them?
Yes, sir. That's a fact. I would do anything to serve.
All right. What you are doing, therefore, is sacrificing your preferences at the altar of service. But even this does not do you justice. Looking at you, I've come to the conclusion that your eagerness, your readiness, your devotion exceed the limits of the tasks which you perform in an exemplary way, even though the tasks which you are asked to do are not easy at all.
Yes, sir.
It's like seeing Hercules, chopping wood or carrying water. These are difficult and useful tasks, but not one befitting a Hercules. There is a strength in you which only partially finds an outlet in your ordinary service. You are more than an ordinary policeman. You are infused with the very idea of order and general discipline. You are the mystic of policehood, the saint of police. You have gotten so thin lately, Sergeant.
I can't sleep, sir.
There you go. Do you have any dreams?
Well, yes, but they are kind of silly.
Please, do tell.
Well, I don't know where it comes from, but sometimes I think that there are two of me.
Go ahead, tell me more.
One is in uniform, the other in plain clothes. We're walking across a huge field. It's warm out. The birds are singing. And then I, that is us, that is me and the other me. The feeling wells up in our hearts that you would take everything out of you and take it somewhere far away. The grass smells so good. You know, Chief, how it does in the spring? And a longing wells up in me, the desire to arrest someone, so that you would even arrest a hare sitting out in the field, or a little wagtail. So I start looking, we're both looking around, we strain our eyes, and there is no one to arrest. Not even if you would throw yourself on the ground and cry your heart out. And then the silliest part starts.
Please do tell.
Then I dream that I arrest myself. That is, the I in uniform arrests the I in plain clothes. And then I wake up covered in sweat.
What you say is so interesting. Very interesting. When was the last time you arrested anyone, Sergeant?
I have nothing to brag about, sir.
Listen. Pay close attention to what I'm about to say.
Yes, sir.
Do you realize we will never be able to arrest anyone?
How come, sir? How come?
Let me tell you something else. Not only will we not be able to arrest anyone, but your son, your grandson, your great-grandson won't be able to do it either. The entire police force is standing on the edge of an abyss. We are on the eve of catastrophe. Why does the police exist? Of course, in order to arrest those who rebel against the existing order. And what if there are no more rebels to be found? What if, as a result of the actions of our improved and expanded police force, a common enthusiasm were to spread, and with it the last trace of dissent disappeared without even the slightest sign of hesitation? What if the love of our infant king and his uncle the regent has been secured once and for all? What are the police to do then? I tried doing something about it. That's why I had you become an agent provocateur. As you can see, not even this last resort worked. Not only were you not able to provoke anyone, but you yourself were beaten up for chanting anti-government slogans.
Well, it healed up already.
That's not the point. We are dealing here with more general matters. I've anticipated dread for a while now, the moment that just arrived. The last dissident signed the oath of loyalty, was let out of prison and went straight into the service of our infant king and his uncle the regent. I tried to hold her back, I offered her stamps, but it was all in vain. Do you know what this means? It means we have gorgeous prisons built at great expense. We have well-trained and devoted force, the courts, administration, and personnel files, but we do not have a single prisoner. What's more, we don't even have a single suspect, not a single clue. The people have become cruelly, wildly, bestially loyal.
Yes, sir, that's a fact. I'd say
Soon the
that...
time will come when we will have to take off our uniforms. And it'll be too late to long for even a single interrogation as we toss and turn all night. Sewing stripes in your underpants will do you no good then. But as it is, you're already suffering from insomnia, and that's why you're still in the service. Think of what'll happen then.
No, no!
Yes, yes! We'll take away your uniform. They'll give you a casual sport coat, slacks, and off you go. Well, you can go off into the fields. You can take a shotgun or a fishing rod and spend your time off any way you please. Well, then you can arrest a hare or a wagtail, so long as it's not the restricted season.
Is there nothing we can do about it, sir?
I come to you in this dark hour, not only as the chief of police nor as your superior, but as simple policemen facing the doom of our life's work. We must give each other a hand and brotherly advice on how best to redeem the situation. Now, you, listen to me. The one man who can still save it all is you.
Me?
Yes, you. Listen to what I'm saying. Who do we need? We need someone we can arrest. Arrest for any reason that contains any hint of anti-government activity. We've tried a number of times until we've reached the conclusion that we will not find this person in any ordinary course of action, in the natural manner, that is. We must draw him out of our own fold. My choice has fallen on you.
I don't understand, sir.
What don't you understand?
What am I supposed to do?
The exact same thing as you've been doing. Shouting anti-government slogans, but there will be one difference. This time, we will not be able to tolerate it, and we'll lock you up.
Me?
Let me assure you that from an ethical point of view, I am entrusting you with a task far more elevated than the ordinary provoking of ordinary citizens and arresting them. That'll be in the simple fulfillment of your ordinary duty. This is quite another thing. This is about ardently fulfilling a mission, carrying out a task that has a poetic quality all of its own. Only a policeman among the select few. One who is inspired and infused to the very marrow with the spirit of the police force can carry this out. This is what I meant when I said that I see in you the spirit of being called to the police force, which is rare, even among the best of us. I want to tell you that there is something in you that has not found a proper outlet for years, something that yearned for the mission that I am only revealing to you now. You are gonna be our Sergeant Redeemer!
I will always, and with all my might! I have a serious headache.
Oh, don't worry about that. Change into plain clothes now!
What? Why now?
You can't go out as your own provocateur uniform.
But why now? Without any warning?
Yes, without any warning. There's no time to lose. Get changed. Then we'll open the window so that people on the street can hear us. Stand next to the window and shout something against our infant king and his uncle the regent. Then I will arrest you, and that's it.
My God, but I'm a policeman.
Indeed, you are more a policeman than anyone else. And being a policeman, while pretending in front of others that you are not a policeman, that makes you twice a policeman. And to be a policeman and to pretend, even to yourself, that you are not a policeman, that makes you a policeman more deeply, more joyously, with all your heart. I'd say a super policeman. Better than any policeman, or twice the policeman on the police force. Before the day is out, I shall write a report to the general. Tomorrow morning, our infant king and his uncle the regent will discover that we have uncovered a plot and arrested a revolutionary. We will be saved.
What should I shout?
Don't you have something at hand, from the old repertoire?
Will calling the regent, the uncle of our infant king, a swine do?
No, that's too thinly veiled an illusion. This has to be blunt, strong, and forceful without any ambiguity so I can arrest you 100%.
Shall I call him a dirty old swine?
That's good. Now, let's open the window. And a 1, and a 2.
Wait. Whenever you're ready.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
The regent, the uncle of our infant king, is a dirty old swine!
In the name of our infant king and his uncle the regent, you are under arrest!
Good God! He's still provoking! Will you please take a break?
Silence, woman! This time he was quite successful. And you kicked the prison guard for the second time.
I don't know what's come over me lately, sir.
Is there anything you need?
No, thank you.
Still, you look like you're in need of something. So pale and quiet.
Well, that may be because I'm in prison, sir.
Send daily reports to the general. Thanks to you, we've already received funding for a new expansion project. Training, instructional training sessions for new recruits, and money to bolster the ranks of the prison guards. The general's taken a personal interest in your case. He says that you're very dangerous, and it's quite fortunate I captured you in time. I don't know you any better, I might think you were dissatisfied. The general has announced he will be attending today's interrogation in person. You been sleeping well? Have you been sick?
I've not been sleeping well.
Any dreams?
Nothing exciting.
What have you been dreaming about?
I dreamed I was walking through a huge field.
The birds were singing, yeah.
How'd you know?
Are you wearing a uniform or just plain clothes?
Plain clothes. Coat and slacks.
What happens next?
I'm walking along and I see a tree. I look up in the tree and I see you sitting on a branch eating cheese.
Sitting in a tree eating cheese.
I'm standing under the tree and you open your mouth to arrest me, and then the cheese falls out of your mouth and hits the ground.
And you pick it up.
No, I don't like Swiss cheese.
Stupid dream.
actually, I shouldn't be drinking with you, Chief.
Why not?
Because I'm just simply an ordinary... Sir, what am I now?
Silly question. You are yourself.
But what does it mean for me to be myself? Because I no longer know what I am, a policeman or a prisoner. And if we were to take it further, when I'm a policeman, am I myself, or am I myself when I'm a prisoner? That is, when I'm supposed to be myself. Am I a policeman or a prisoner?
I explained it to you all when I was arresting you, and now you're starting again.
It was clearer then, and that was only the beginning. And I clearly knew then what I was, a respectable sergeant in the Secret Service. But it all started to go bad earlier, back when I became the agent provocateur. Don't be angry with me, Chief, but I see today that it went bad then. And if I knew then what I know today, I would have asked you to select someone else to do the inciting. There's a reason why the plainclothes were giving me trouble. God, a policeman should never take off his uniform, just to be on the safe side.
Still, even with all this, it never entered your head to complain. You were acting on your own free will, even on your day off.
But what I'm saying is, it didn't have that same meaning. I had no premonition of the kind. Even later, when you came to my house, sir, and opened up new perspectives to me, and said that I reminded you, sir, of Hercules. Well, even then, of course, it was difficult, but I clearly knew that I was a first-rate policeman. Even you yourself, sir, said that I was better than the rest. Oh, the evil started only after you arrested me and I was in prison. And what I mean is not that I was in prison, but that I was a person who has been in prison. This has an effect on a man. Ever since then, everything has been more and more muddled.
Explain yourself more clearly.
In the beginning, I still remembered what this was all about, what you explained to me. But then I started to have memory lapses, eclipses, and I became frightened, and I began consciously repeating to myself, I am a sergeant in the Secret Service, and even in the Super Secret Service. But then...
What happened then?
Then I stopped repeating because I no longer knew the reason why.
But where did it all start?
I wanted to say that I am only a simple...
Well, what, for crying out loud?
Well, either a simple policeman or a simple prisoner, and whether I'm one
You
or
don't
the
know how
other...
to think critically, only crudely. That's what we get for giving responsibilities to an uneducated man. Hey, in your place, a man from an educated family.
What I wanted to say is that whether I'm one or the other, I cannot drink with you, sir. If I am to be a policeman, then I cannot condone that you would drink with a prisoner, that is with me, because I'm a person who has been in prison. If I'm to be a prisoner, a revolutionary, feared by the general himself or even feared by the government, then I cannot drink with you either.
But why?
Because then, as such, I must abide by my code of ethics and my role as an imprisoned revolutionary, and I cannot drink with the chief of police, a representative of government.
You've gone mad.
No, I have not. This is stronger than me. Can you let me out of prison? No, you cannot. So I still have to stay here. And the longer I am here, the more the environment affects me. I've tried to resist it, but every day I stay in prison, I feel that something terrible happens to me. Something I do not yet understand.
Perhaps you are ill indeed. Have you ever had any trouble with your lungs?
That's not it, sir. I'm as healthy as a bull. You saw me working out with the dumbbells. You should see me exercise with the springs. This is something else. Did you know that ever since you put me in prison, new thoughts have started coming into my head?
You better take care of yourself.
You're absolutely right. For example, in the past, when I traveled by train, I didn't think anything of it. But when one is in prison, you begin to adopt a critical attitude, and out of boredom, you begin to reflect and reminisce on things. And do you know what conclusion I've reached?
How would I know? Tell me at once.
That our railway system is terrible.
Do you really that's what you were saying? I must warn you, I will start compiling a report.
Write all the reports you want. These things well up in a man to the point where he can no longer remain silent. Let's take, for example, art and culture. Please, tell me, sir, why did we have to persecute and torture all those poor artists?
Slow down. What was the last word?
The poor artists, I said.
Oh, I don't believe it. It's impossible. Bearing in mind the long record of your service, you have to tell me. Do you really believe what you were saying? We've worked together for so many years, everything falling into place, and now this. Do you really think things are so bad in our country? Please, think it over.
What is there to think over? If you pull up a bunk to the window in my cell and put a pail on it upside down and stand on it, you can look out and see a meadow. Now is the time of year where it is full of reapers. And if I look closely at them, there are many things I can glean. Have you seen the sour expression that is on their faces? The look of discontent that's painted there.
This is entirely subjective on your part. Setting aside the conclusion to which it leads, loyalty or disloyalty, subjectivism as a method is entirely at odds with our program. I'd have to punish you even if you said nothing about being dissatisfied. Besides, you know it's prohibited from looking out the window.
But it is not prohibited for someone who is supposed to be fighting against the government. Such a person can hardly deny himself this tiny additional misdemeanor. On the contrary, he will consider it a minor duty, a fulfillment of sorts. But let us pause for a moment on the fact that the view of a crematorium beyond the hill gives me a lot to think about. That was not a good investment.
What, you want atheists to be denied the right to control their means of burial? You are against religious tolerance, and yet you dare to criticize government policies in other areas.
Dead people are not a valid argument. And besides, even if I weren't looking out the window, there are many writings scratched on the walls of my cell. Out of boredom, I've been reading them. And when one begins to ponder them, they don't seem so stupid after all.
What, for instance?
Down with tyranny, sir.
Enough! So, this is where we stand. This is how far things have gone. So, I imagine our Uncle the Regent is an old idiot.
Yes.
And I suppose the king is a little brat.
Yes.
The general has arrived, sir.
So, this is the man.
Yes, sir, that's him.
He looks like a leader. Have you managed to find the rest of his people?
Not yet, but we're interrogating him continuously.
A dangerous bird. Have you found any explosives on him?
Not yet. There's still hope.
He seems to be more trouble than I thought. He's despicable. An ordinary insurgent always carries a few pounds of explosives on him. Seems like we stumbled upon the real deal. What do you think about it, Colonel?
Oh, yes, sir. If he's been searched, nothing was found on him. That means the matter lies much deeper.
Please, allow me to introduce my aide-de-camp. She was recently chosen for a post on Special Counsel for Revolutionary Affairs and Anti-Government Activities. She is an expert on the subject.
Sir, this cannot be.
What's the matter with you, Colonel?
Please, sir, forgive me, but I must speak up. You have been the victim of a mistake or a deliberate trick. This woman,
Go on, continue.
she's the one who threw a bomb at you.
Who?
Your own aide-de-camp and my former prisoner.
Go on, continue.
I'm not wrong, sir. I swear I know her well. She used to sit right here, in this very chair. It's not possible if Your Excellency were freely chosen such a person.
What do you say to that, Lieutenant?
The chief of police is right. I'm indeed his prisoner. The fact that he recognized me in this uniform with my hair completely different is a tribute to his great abilities as a careful observer and his high qualifications.
Don't be cheeky now.
While it is true that I am a former prisoner, you seem to forget, sir, that I signed the Declaration of Loyalty and was released from prison. His Excellency, the General, was made aware of all these facts.
Settle down, sir. Indeed, I knew all about it. Now you can see it's not without reason that I introduced the lieutenant as an expert to the council on countering subversive activities.
But the bomb! The bomb! I still have it here.
My dear sir, everyone has to throw a bomb at one general or another at some point. The body demands it. The sooner you get through that phase, the better. As far as I'm concerned, I have total trust in my aide, precisely because she has already put that behind her. There are still quite a few people that have never satisfied that natural urge. And please, don't get angry, but have you ever thrown a bomb at a general?
Your Excellency.
See, neither have I. And in this respect, and forgive me for my saying so, I have more trust in my aide than I have in you. And for that matter, even in myself. I assure you that your action plan should include, if you want to be considered an exemplary chief of police, of taking precautions on the event that I drop a bomb on myself. Have you ever thought about that, sir?
No, sir.
Well, now you see. Think about it. The person of the general is property of the state and of its government, not the individual that occupies its post. Any attempt of this kind, even on my part, would have to be classified as an attempt on a person of military rank, hence, indirectly being an attempt on the state itself. And if ever you should have to arrest me for it then, by my drawing your attention to it, in a way, I am reporting myself to you, informing the chief of police of confidential information, which will be a mitigating factor at trial. And this is all just to be on the safe side. Returning to our discussion about my aide, let me tell you something else. She recently entered the service coming to us from an entirely opposing camp, yet has already achieved the rank of officer. I'm sure it required a lot of effort on her part, and she ought to be congratulated on her motivation and hard work. We, sir, the old guard, had it coming to us in installments, as in her love for the government suddenly exploded all fresh and pure, as it were distilled in a long engagement with anti-government activities. And as for her current qualifications, I'm sure you will admit that she is unmatched when it comes to combating these sorts of activities, and therefore, you expressing your dislike in her, you may be open to the charge, albeit groundless, of being jealous of her and her brilliant success.
I promise you, sir.
All right. No need to worry. I brought her here because I knew we had a tricky case on our hands with this enemy of our infant king and his uncle, the regent. You will see this will be quite a show. Shall we start? The lieutenant may proceed.
Allow me to remark, sir.
Here we go. Not this again. This ill will towards our young people is starting to look suspicious.
I'm afraid you will be disappointed, Your Excellency, and so will the Chief of Police. This is a clear-cut case.
Is that what you think, young lady?
Here, I agree with the chief of police, and think you exaggerate how clear-cut this is. The accused has already proven himself to be remarkably treacherous and cunning, and as a result, we have no hard evidence against him. The extent of his subversive activity is evident, given his outbursts against our regent, the uncle of our infant king. That outburst is what gave the criminal away and became the grounds for his immediate arrest. If he could shout such things out loud, it must be horrifying what he is keeping to himself. Yet, we do not possess the evidence that allows us to study and decipher the actions of the criminal. Let us, for example, linger on the fact that no explosives were found on him. On what basis, then, is this a clear-cut case?
Point well taken. I don't seek to expose at this moment the, so to speak, surface-level hostile actions of the criminal. If we are to acknowledge that time is one and, in principle, is not divided into past and present, I insist that considered in their full fruition, these acts are part and parcel of the personality of the accused, and even if they have not yet been committed, they themselves are every bit as real as if they had actually been committed. From the point of view of this investigation, this truth is evident and incriminating.
Allow me to squeeze a word or two in, Your Excellency.
But of course.
I do not deny that we are dealing with an especially dangerous criminal, and that all who say that the police have absolutely nothing to do these days should be derided or arrested. I think, however, that perhaps not the formulation, but the method the lieutenant has adopted is a commendable, though somewhat overblown faith in her own abilities, typical of a rookie.
I pleaded with you not
As
to.
far as I'm concerned, the criminal's intense anti-government activities came on the heels of a long period of loyalty with the government, or even cooperation.
You are correct, my little friend.
We are dealing with a very dangerous individual. A process has taken place, analogous to what Your Excellency sketched in describing my own case, only going in the opposite direction. This man, at a relatively young age, which, by the way, exacerbates things, has tasted the first joys that come from the feeling of being persecuted. As we know, this feeling gives one an illusion, one's own superiority and dignity, the same in intensity as the feeling of God-fearing loyalty or agreement with prevailing viewpoints, though they're diametrically opposed when considered in detail. Hence, very attractive to a specimen who's never experienced it.
I do not agree. This man is a repulsive kind of criminal, that much is clear, but I do not see how he's any worse than those various and sundry people who throw a bomb at a general.
Here he goes with the bomb again!
I assure you, officer, that this man is capable of throwing a bomb at 3 generals without batting an eye.
Attention! Tell me at once, would you throw a bomb at the general himself?
Speak honestly, boldly. Don't be shy with me.
No way, sir. Yes, I may have some different thoughts. Yes, I admit that agriculture, the foreign trade, but to throw a bomb at the general.
See?
Imagine you were walking along the promenade on a Sunday afternoon, and you happen to have a bomb with you. You took it from home just like that, and you yourself do not know why. Around you there are many people, beautiful women, and suddenly you see a general.
A real one?
I call you to order.
Sure, the general heads straight for you. He doesn't veer off, he's just asking for it. His medals are glistening, his boots are shining, and you think to yourself you will finally pay him back for it all. That such a beautiful general will not happen to you a second time.
What a scoundrel!
The last time.
Well,
No, I can't.
I think that's enough, General.
Oh.
To tell the truth, I'm beginning to wonder why you are obstructing this investigation.
I am obstructing the investigation, me.
That's what it looks like to me. Do you care that this man has not been found guilty of anything?
I protest.
After all, you are clearly hindering the lieutenant from finally unmasking the criminal and exposing all his wickedness. I warn you, I will be obliged to discuss this position of yours with the regent, the uncle of our infant Ta.
And I, for my part, would like to assure His Excellency that as police chief, I have the necessary means to demonstrate to His Excellency the falsity of such speeches.
Are you threatening me?
I would not dare, sir. I am merely stating that, at the very least, I am washing my hands and will not be held responsible for any further developments.
Very well. Let's go back to our hearing.
may I ask that the prisoner be dismissed for a moment?
Oh, but of course.
Take him out into the hallway, bring him back when I call.
I still maintain that the accused is basically guilty of a bombing attempt on the general. The only difficulty is that, being a simpleton, he has too little imagination. But I have a certain little plan.
We'd be happy to hear it.
Here, in the chief's office, is a bomb I once threw at the general. The bomb is defective. Witness the presence of the general among us today. I propose that we call in a suspect and hand him this bomb. We will open the door. The general will go out into the corridor, and I can vouch for the fact, for when he has the bomb in his hand and the general standing face to face in front of him, his libertarian anarchist instincts will kick in. No longer being able to resist them, he will throw it. Thus, we will get glaringly vivid proof of his supreme malice and criminality under conditions as close to natural as possible.
But this is madness. What do you think about it, Colonel?
I think your lieutenant, as an outstanding expert on the subject and an officer of great promise despite her short tenure, is right. General, for the sake of the investigation, I urge you not to recklessly reject this experiment.
I repeat that the bomb is harmless. The detonator failed to make contact, at least the last time.
So you think, Lieutenant?
I am doing my duty and proposing the most effective means of exposing anti-government activity for the sake of the service of our infant king and his uncle, the regent.
You are too capable, young woman.
I, too, as your friend, advise you not to neglect the investigation. I am confiding in you confidentially that in the classified reports I'm sending directly to our regent, the uncle of our infant king, I will be forced to describe in detail your attitude and commitment to service. In this case, your readiness to uncover the enemies of our infant king and of the regent.
Show me the bomb and I'll think about it.
Yes. This is the same bomb.
Are you sure?
I certainly am.
So, General, do you give up?
What are you accusing me of? Take it up with the accused.
You're dismissed. You are to throw a bomb at the general.
What? For no reason?
The general will stand in the corridor while you stand here.
Can we put this off until tomorrow?
As you wish, yes, Your Excellency. Anyways, we can consult the government on this matter.
No. I must be going.
One more word, General.
Huh?
Leave the door open. That way he can throw the bomb at you.
But of course.
Oh, wait! Give him my mask and cape. The illusion must be complete.
We're all ready. Please, Lieutenant. After you.
Well then, you're walking along the promenade. Beautiful women. Right here. Where the chief of police now stands, the sun is shining, and there stands the general. His medals are glistening, his boots are shining, and you think to yourself you will finally pay him back for everything. You think, there you go, General!
Ah! Seems you like the general. As your boss, he was quite lenient towards you.
Quite the opposite of his attitude toward you. The fact that one has been a police chief for a number of years does not yet prove anything. Retirement, also a beautiful thing.
And what would you say, though, if I arrested you now? You must admit this bomb case is unclear, to say the least.
I freely admit this. Unclear to the point that your own participation in it is largely obscured, so we would have an interesting example of mutual arrest in this case.
I can see that you will go far, though not as far as you expect. And not replacing me, that is, assuming office of chief of police, but in the opposite direction. You are under arrest.
Excellent. However, I would like to point out that you have thus reached the limit of your capabilities. Moreover, I'm afraid that all of your laughable attempts to accuse me of making the bomb explode will be the very thing that turns against you.
And this is how, my little friend?
Very simply, my old man. You will accuse me of hostility to the government and attempted assassination. They will ask you where you were when this lieutenant signed the Declaration of Loyalty and left prison. What kind of police chief are you if you let the prisoner pull the wool over your eyes? What kind of security guard are you if you didn't spot her game and you let her out of prison? Arguing that you let me out because my repentance was genuine, you will be right, because I really was and am sincere in my loyalty and dedicated to the government to the point of madness. But in doing so, you will turn to dust all your accusations against me and put yourself in the very silly situation of a witless schemer. But let's cut to the chase. What would you say if I, in turn, arrested you?
Don't think the police are above arresting people. No! This arrest is above us. It is above everything. I'm an old school policeman, so please, if you can only prove...
Of course I can. Here's the deal. It's one of the elementary duties of the chief of police to protect generals from terrorist attacks. And what do? You yourself placed a bomb in the hands of an arrested conspirator. You yourself instructed him how to throw it. This is horrific.
I've gone mad. After all, this was all at your request.
Which you supported with such suspicious eagerness.
What happened? It happened under pressure from you. You wanted it. You yourself sought for this to happen with the bomb.
But I am not the chief of police. I repeat, what is the elementary duty of a police chief? A child can tell you to protect generals from bombs.
But this bomb was supposed to be defective. You said so yourself.
I'm not getting into all that. You were under no obligation to believe me.
But wait. You yourself told me a moment ago that you were telling the truth, that you were committed to the government.
That is indeed the case. I am committed to the government, but you, as chief of police, should know that what is important does not have to have a special meaning. Nevertheless, alternatively, it can or does have the opposite meaning, or simply a different one, depending on certain circumstances. Don't you see? Despite your long tenure, you can only reason crudely.
Well, then let's arrest each other until the matter is clarified. General! You're alive!
I'm not that stupid. I hid in the closet.
I would like to point out that the outcry just issued by the chief of police is highly incriminating to him. The astonishment expressed in the sentence, "General, you are alive," indicates that the chief of police expected or even hoped for something else.
In any event, I am forced to arrest you both. There are two possibilities. Either it was an accident, or one of you three fixed the fuse. And since we do not yet know how to arrest for accidents, the second eventuality remains. And I don't count the sergeant, because he's already arrested. That leaves 2 people.
Rightly so. The lieutenant's past will certainly give the tribunal much food for thought.
The motives of the chief of police will one day be a classic case for investigators. Perhaps it was also the case here, setting aside the relevant, more complex accusations at the moment, of compromising the lieutenant to the general. Understandable and driven by purely personal motives, but having nothing to do with service to our government.
I regret to inform you that I am placing you under arrest on behalf of the government.
Me? For what?
For recklessly exposing the rank of general to a bombing. You are suspected of fostering subversive action. You yourself have awakened my vigilance in this regard, which will be a mitigating circumstance for you.
It remains to be decided whether a police officer who has already arrested a person with whom he is simultaneously under mutual arrest, that is, the chief with me, can arrest a third person, by whom, by the way, he has already been arrested previously, including the first person with whom he has a first mutual arrest.
You have no right to speak.
Same for you, sir.
Officers, it seems like the police have their hands full.
Long live freedom!